Hello, everybody. I'm going to take you through a demo of Digital QC, SPCA's new quality control program for truss manufacturers. Here we've got our home screen, obviously SPCA Digital QC. We've got our username and password, which I've got that remembered. You would enter your email address and the associated password with your account. In the lower left, we've got our build date of February 11th from 2022. That version is 0.13.0. And over here on the right, we've got a settings button. And this is my first click here. We're going to open up the settings and take a look at what we've got here. All right, the server URL. This is our test environment, the digitalqc-test.spcindustry.com. Yours will typically be digitalqc or digqc.spcindustry.com. Your local storage path, you can change this if you want. Any of the files that you save locally, meaning the inspection reports that this version produces, you can find them there, as well as any bug reports. Currently, and I'll probably repeat this throughout, the bug feature does not automatically send it to the developers. It just zips the file up, and then you have to email that to either SPCA or the developers or somebody in between. Then we've got a connectivity check frequency, 60 seconds. That just updates it every 60 seconds to make sure that you're still in contact with the servers. Beyond that, this green dot in the lower right, that says that we are online. If it is red, and you can use Digital QC outside of Wi-Fi, as long as you have the file that you need for the input, you can go ahead and use that without Wi-Fi. But this is showing us that it is connected. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. Or if you want to declare and use somebody else's name, you could type that in. But I'm going to log in here. And we're connecting now with this wheel. It spins around. And again, we've got our main screen here in the upper left. If you have multiple locations that you perform inspections at, you will select them here. Here we've just got the one location for A1 roof truss. And again, this is not a live environment that I'm operating in, but it is, an example that we've been using throughout the testing for Mr. Bob Lamb's account there. In the lower left, we've still got our build date and the version number. Lower right, again, the green dot. Upper right, I'll start here with one inspection queued. I did an inspection earlier today, did not upload it just for this reason. So that says that we've got one that needs to upload. I'm going to try to put another inspection on top of it and upload both of them at the same time. Now, this blue bar across the top here, that is a problem or report a bug. It looks like a little bug there. So you would go ahead and press that button. It would take you through that process of zipping everything up. This is going to upload the inspections, which I could do that right now if I wanted to. Here we've got our settings, which I'll go ahead and click into the QC file format. Right now, we've got MyTex TRE and JSON, as well as Alpine's XML and Eagle's QC file. We are adding the unified format from the TPI member companies, which will include Simpson when that support is ready. It should be in the next couple versions. And also the TPI companies are planning to have those in their upcoming releases. So look for that. The image source, I have a number of pictures already on my tablet here to choose from. That way, I'm not actually out in the field. I can demo it. I can do that. But if you are doing an actual inspection, you can choose the front camera or the rear camera. And then this black box on the right will give you a preview of that. It is a lot for the system to kind of go back and forth, especially as I'm recording. So I'm not going to do that here. You can test that on your own once you have your version, but you should be able to see the front or the rear camera. Now, if I wanted to return to the default, I could do that. I'm just going to save and go back, and that takes us through that. Home button here takes us to the Digital QC website. If you wanted to look up any inspection reports, you could go there and do that. And then this logs us out. So in the middle here, the A1 roof truss, Fort Pierce, Florida. This gives you the address and location that you're logged in as, in case you need a reminder from this upper left and you might be in a wrong one. It's always nice to look at that and see where we're at. We've got select truss, reports, and upload. I'm going to go through all three, but let's start first with select truss and we'll go through an inspection. It asked me to upload the inspection. I'm going to upload it now while we're here. So it does that. Now I'm going to go back into the select truss. I've got this AA12 already selected here. So let's go ahead and open that. It allows you to change the truss name or the job name if you want to. We'll do demo 1 here since, this is just a demo. You can enter whatever you want in there to separate it from the other trusses that you're testing. All right, so we've got our truss there up on the screen. Gives us the file name up top there, as well as some information on the left, the truss, the job name, the span, the height, as well as the QC standard that it is going towards. This is a roof truss, so it's going to be the TPI-1 2014 roof standard. Now, let's go left to right along this bottom bar here, source. Again, you can change if you want to go to your front camera, your rear camera, or the image upload. You can do that in the middle of the inspection. I'm just going to hit cancel out of this. Add notes. This was a feature that was added recently. So I can type this in right there, and you're going to see this throughout a couple different areas of where this pops up. It's one continuous box that just updates throughout. It isn't like it's a notes for separate areas. It is just one note box. So you'll probably see this if we click into it again later on. So with those two done, I'm going to start the inspection. And here we've got our lines and setup locations. And all of this is controlled on the back end of the digital QC server. So you can log in there, either you or your location manager, whomever is kind of the authority figure for, if you will, for your location. They can alter this. So if you've got plenty of different setups, you can enter in as many as you'd like. Here we've got several that are entered in there. We'll say this is going to be set up F2. Night shifts, we've only got the night here, but you could add day or swing or shifts 1, 2, 3, whatever you want. Same with crews. We can look at different crews here. We'll click on Matthias's name here, and we'll go down to Michael and select Michael's crew name. As far as inspectors, you can see I updated this to my name. My name is Chess, if you did not know. We do have Molly and a test account there as well. I wanted to see if I could impact that on the back end, so that's why my name is there. As well as build date. Let's say this was built yesterday and we're doing our first inspection of the day. We can go in and change this. Again, that would be Sunday because I'm recording this on a Monday. So we would say that is yesterday, and all that is going to go on from there. Now, we can record the span and height from here, or we can save and go back. I'm going to go through and record the span and the height. Now, we've seen earlier that the design length of this truss, the span is 31.3 and 0. Let's say it measures 31.2 and 14/16. So instead of going in, to the 30 or 31, the 2 and the 14, I'm just going to click this down, and it's smart enough to rotate it down to that next lower inch mark there. Same with the height. Let's say it was at an even 6 foot. So instead of going to the 6, 0, and 0, I'm just going to click up on the 16ths twice, and then it enters it in there. So it's a little bit of intuitiveness with that that scale there. So it's pretty nice to have to do that in a lot less clicks if you have to go from 1 feet to the next. So with that, we recorded the span and height. We're going to save and go back. So we've already started the inspection. Now we're going to check out the lumber. So I'm clicking on lumber there along that bottom bar. And it pulls up all the different pieces in this truss and shows you the, 2x4, what it's expecting there for the dimension, as well as dug for number 2 green. All the different types of lumber here. You can hit OK individually as you would do your inspection. Or if all the lumber checks out, you can hit mark all OK. But let's say this W3 was upgraded or something to, select struct. You can go in there and write in W3 select struct, something there to, let you know that it was something different than what you're expecting. You can write that note. Obviously, it would pass because, select struct is a higher grade than stud or whatever you need it to be there. So again, any notes that you have, you can add those there again. So we can save and go back there. And then we'll go into the joints here. And this is about the time it starts to get exciting. You can see that it highlights different members there, as well as the plates that it's anticipating. These are all the joints that have not been inspected yet. So we're going to start in the lower left heel here. I'll double click that, and it gives us our visual inspection questions. Is the plate installed? Is the integrity okay? The plate type and size as expected. Are the member gaps, rotation, position, and embedment all okay? Yes, they are. You would hit save and go back and do the other one. Now, let's say this was a critical joint, or you wanted to inspect it as a critical joint. You can click this radio button here, and it changes the questions. Obviously, it's going to go through and address a few of those in the next dialogue. But again, is the plate installed? The integrity okay? Is the plate type and size match what's specified? And are the member gaps okay? Assuming all are yes, we hit continue. And it asks us to, pick an image, because we had that image selection set from the very beginning, or now it would pop up the camera and you would take a picture of that joint. So this is the joint that we're going to inspect here. Double clicked on that file. And now what we want to do is we want to get the plate image in between the yellow and the blue square. So I'm going to use my touch screen, which it probably all looks the same to you, but I'm going to work to get that in between the two. And it looks like I've got that pretty close. So once I've got the plate in between this yellow and blue square or rectangle, it's probably a better way to say it, I'm going to hit set plate. Now it takes the system a little bit to do this because what it's doing is it's trying to find the edges of that plate and then figure out the tooth alignment there. So once it goes here, we'll see it pop up, and it's kind of cool once it happens. You can see that it identifies all the teeth there. They're selected in yellow, as well as the perimeter of the plate. So, with these slots, they could be off a little bit. You can toggle this slot layout, and you can see how they change there. I'll do it a couple more times to let you see. This is how it looks a little bit closer to what is actually there on the screen. So that is what you would do. Now, if you needed to change the plate size, you could certainly do that. Or let's say the photograph that you took or the image is not quite as nice as this one, and you need to select the plate corners. You can hit that select corners, and you can specify with these 4 kind of bullseyes, if you will, or crosshairs, where the corners of the plate are. And once you do that, you will hit OK. And it gets us right back to where we were, assuming that, it was okay to begin with. If not, you can always go in and tweak it there. So once that is done, you hit done, and you're back here to this point. It's got the corners highlighted. Now we need to line the lumber up with the red lines of what it's anticipating for. And I'm kind of concentrated here, and I'm not able to talk at the same time too well using my touch screen. And that gets us, nope, not quite as close as I want. There we go. And that gets us close with the lumber compared to where the red lines are there. It gives us the relative position of the plate to where it should be. Once you've done that, you can hit lock template. That gives us the outline of where the plate should be. You still are showing the corners and the center of the plate. Now we're asked to say, what is the embedment gap, if there is any? If there's not, amongst all 3 pieces, you'd hit 0. If it's a 30-second throughout all, you would hit a 30-second. Or let's say it's different between the top chord, the slider, and the bottom chord. I'm going to do that just to illustrate it. So when the gap is selected, tap on a joint member to enter embedment measurements. So I've done that. Let's go in here to the top chord, and let's say that is 0. Hit OK on the slider. At least that's what I call it from where I come from. It's a 1/32, hit OK, and then with this bottom chord, 0 again. And we've embedded or recorded our embedment gaps there. Now we're going to look for defects in the teeth. Now there's 2 different ways to do that. We can do it with the lumber or the plate. And let's say it's a wane issue. And let's just, for the heck of it, say that there's a lot of wane on this bottom piece here. And, even some here, and there was a lumber defect is why the plate teeth are not that effective. And one thing it does do is you can see as I click, it's selecting 2 teeth at a time. You can see there are 2 small orange rectangles. I'm going to click one here. If you click it once, it gives both teeth. If you click it another time, it gives to 1, and then you can toggle to the top one and then back to 0. So both teeth, top, bottom, none, or both. So you can just click through that, and you can see that it allows you to specify exactly what tooth has the issue. Now, same thing with the plate. I'm going to click plate here, and I've done this joint a few times now, demo in different places. And you can see that it kind of got hammered, must have had a real big club when they were on the table hitting this guy, which I can understand. You want to get those plates to stay in place as you're on the table there. And I'll do just one on that one. So once you've done that, you get to where you're happy with the teeth and where, what are effective, what are not. And now that you've got that done, you hit this green analyze button, and it happens real quick. So I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. Boom. There we go. It passes the inspection. It shows you where all the teeth are that, had the problems with the lumber, the plate. Gives you the polygon as well as the center of the plate where it was at. Gives us all the data here on the left, which you can familiarize yourself with, but a lot of information there to look at. So once we're done with this joint, we can hit save, and it should take us back to this previous screen, you hit back again. And again, you would go on to all of the other joints that you want to do on the front side that are critical joints. If there are no others and you're happy with them and they all look okay, you can hit set OK remaining front. And that's, again, you're looking for the rotation, the embedment, the right plates, all of that stuff. Now, let's say we flip the truss over, we go to the back side. Again, we've got to do all these other joints. And if there's a critical joint, we would go through and do that. For time's sake, I'm just going to hit set OK remaining back. I suggest you not do that in the field when you're doing an actual inspection, because it's kind of one of those things where, you know, despite how cool this tool is, it's still garbage in, garbage out. But for time's sake, we're going to say that they're all okay. And then we're going to go back to this, and then we're going to go back to the home. And from there, you can see that complete inspection. So the inspection has been completed. It passed the truss span, the height, the members, the joints, all passed. We're going to save and go back. So once we do this, it pops up in my browser a report. I'll bring that over here so you can see it. Now gives us the past QC checks, the inspection report, all this information. As we scroll down, gives us an outline of the truss, shows that. Here's the comment section. Now this comment section only shows up on this report. If you upload it to the server and you delete this or you close it, you can't get that back. So if you did have comments that you wanted to save, I suggest you either print or save or do something with this report that allows you to store it locally. That way, if you have for your QA inspector, they need to see whatever those comments were, or even for your own QC inspections or your management, you can show it at some point. Now, that is a feature that is going to be coming up in future server upgrades. We are in the process of identifying what aspects need to be updated. That is one of them that will happen very quick once we've got the server code caught up to the tablet side. Our focus has strictly been on the tablet side right now, but our developers are well aware of this problem, and it'll be one of the first things they implement once they get to that point. So know that it's coming, but right now, if you need to save this, I suggest you do it right here at this point. Now, continuing on this report, there's all this information as far as the lumber information, the joints, gives you the orientation. All those green check marks are sure nice to see. You can see the plating, the backside inspection not complete. So it does show you that if you did not do that, again, it wasn't a critical joint. So, you know, probably should have done it. But again, it's going to tell us that it didn't, again, with this backside inspection not complete. The front side gives you the photo. This is nice to take into the crew if that plate was rotated or something was wrong with it. Maybe you're going to show them that they had Thor hammer in it on the sides. Whatever you need to do with it, that report really will provide it. So back to this screen, you can see we've got the one inspection queued. I'm going to hit this big upload button, and you can see it spinning, happening right there. And it's uploaded it to the server. And for function's sake, we're going to go out and look at the report section here. It takes a little bit. It's not as reactive as I'd like. That's one of the other things that we're going to improve with the server side code that we're set to embark on. So with that, as we get there, we should see from approximately 213 and 221, it was 212 right there. We can see the demo one. I already recorded a demo that did not turn out as well earlier today, but the demo one, you can see there, we'll view report, and that'll bring up pretty much the same information minus that comment section. And you can see here, a little different formatting, a lot of the same information, but that essentially is that report with the comments not included there. And that pretty much wraps up the demo for Digital QC. I'm sure there's a lot of questions. I spent quite a few minutes with this, but still not nearly enough. Hopefully it gives you an idea of how to go through it, kind of kick the tires, and there'll be other resources that you have available to answer those questions. But until then, you know, look forward to your experience with Digital QC. Please provide us your feedback. If you come across any bugs, we want to know about them, because it's important to help make sure that nobody else comes across those bugs, and we can continue to develop the program to be the best that it can be. Thank you.